Welcome back. Today we're diving into the vital outcomes of COP16. This crucial conference tackled the Convention on Biological Diversity. Let's get started. The Earth is in trouble. Species are vanishing at alarming rates. This loss of biodiversity threatens the delicate balance of our planet. COP16 brought together nations to address this urgent issue. The goal is to protect life on Earth as we know it. COP16 wasn't just another conference, it was a call to action. The decisions made there will shape the future of our planet. Join us as we explore the key outcomes of COP16.
Let's start with the basics. What is the Convention on Biological Diversity? It all began in 1992 at the Earth Summit in Rio de Janeiro. World leaders recognized that biodiversity is essential for humanity. This led to the creation of the Convention on Biological Diversity, or CBD. It's a powerful tool for global conservation and international cooperation. The Convention on Biological Diversity stands on 3 pillars. The first pillar is the conservation of biological diversity. This means protecting species, ecosystems, and genetic diversity. The second pillar is the sustainable use of biological resources. This means using natural resources in a way that doesn't deplete them. The third pillar is the fair and equitable sharing of benefits from genetic resources. This means ensuring that benefits derived from genetic resources are shared fairly. These 3 pillars are interconnected and support each other. They are essential for achieving the Convention's overall goal: a world where biodiversity is valued, conserved, and used sustainably, for the benefit of all. Let's explore how these pillars guide global biodiversity conservation.
Another key agreement under the CBD is the Nagoya Protocol. Adopted in 2010, it focuses on access and benefit sharing, or ABS. This protocol tackles the complex issue of genetic resources. It ensures fair and equitable sharing of benefits arising from their use. The Nagoya Protocol recognizes the contributions of indigenous and local communities. It ensures their rights are respected and guarantees their participation in decision-making processes. The protocol establishes clear rules for accessing and utilizing genetic resources. This transparency promotes trust among countries and encourages the sharing of knowledge and benefits. Ultimately, it contributes to the conservation and sustainable use of biodiversity. The CBD's commitment to action extends beyond individual protocols. It sets ambitious goals for global biodiversity conservation. One such initiative was the Strategic Plan for Biodiversity 2011 to 2020. While progress was made, the overall goal of halting biodiversity loss by 2020 was not achieved. This led to the development of the post-2020 Global Biodiversity Framework. Adopted in 2022, it sets a new course for the coming decade. The future of biodiversity depends on our collective action.
Imagine a vast library holding the secrets of life itself. This is the world of genetic information, and within it lies distress sequence information, or DSI. DSI reveals how organisms adapt and respond to threats like disease, climate change, and habitat loss. This information is crucial for developing new medicines, improving crop yields, and conserving endangered species. However, the power of DSI comes with responsibilities. The CBD recognizes the sovereign rights of nations over their genetic resources. It aims to ensure that the benefits derived from DSI are shared fairly and equitably. DSI holds immense potential for solving global challenges, but its use must be guided by ethical considerations. One key aspect is ensuring transparency and accountability in the collection, storage, and use of genetic data. Another crucial aspect is obtaining prior informed consent from the countries and communities from which genetic resources originate. Building capacity in developing countries is also essential. By promoting open dialogue and prioritizing ethical practices, we can harness the power of DSI for the benefit of all humankind.
COP16 a turning tide for biodiversity. Against a backdrop of escalating environmental concerns, COP16 emerged as a beacon of hope. Held in Cali, Colombia, this conference brought together nations from around the world, united by a common purpose. The atmosphere at COP16 was charged with a sense of urgency. The alarming rate of biodiversity loss served as a stark reminder of the high stakes involved. COP16 wasn't just another international gathering, it was a defining moment. Could COP16 be the turning point? The moment when the tide began to turn in favor of biodiversity? Section 2. Forging a path to 2030 and beyond. Key resolutions of COP16. COP16 concluded with a sense of cautious optimism. The conference yielded a series of resolutions outlining concrete steps towards achieving the goals set out in the Global Diversity Framework. From tackling unsustainable food systems to strengthening alliances with indigenous communities, COP16 laid the groundwork for a more sustainable and equitable future. One of the key areas of focus was the urgent need to transform our food systems. COP16 called for a shift towards sustainable agriculture, promoting practices that minimize environmental impact, conserve biodiversity, and ensure food security for all. The message was clear. The way we produce, consume, and waste food needs a radical overhaul. Recognizing the crucial role of indigenous communities in biodiversity conservation, COP16 emphasized the importance of strengthening partnerships with these groups. Indigenous knowledge systems, often passed down through generations, hold valuable insights into living in harmony with nature. COP16 reaffirmed the rights of indigenous peoples and their role in decision-making processes. To track progress towards achieving the Global Diversity Framework targets, COP16 established a robust monitoring framework. This framework would provide a transparent and accountable system for measuring progress, identifying challenges, and making necessary adjustments along the way. Regular assessments would ensure that the world stays on track to meet its biodiversity goals. COP16 also addressed the often contentious issue of resource mobilization. Recognizing that achieving the ambitious goals of the Global Diversity Framework would require significant financial investments, the conference called for increased funding for biodiversity conservation, both from developed countries and from innovative financing mechanisms. The resolutions adopted at COP16 represented a significant step forward. They demonstrated a global commitment to tackling the biodiversity crisis, providing a roadmap for action and setting the stage for a more sustainable future. However, the real work was just beginning. Section 3. United for Biodiversity, a global call to action. While the resolutions adopted at COP16 provided a framework for action, the true measure of success would lie in their implementation. Translating these agreements into tangible results would require a concerted effort from all sectors of society, from governments and businesses to individuals. Governments were urged to incorporate the Global Diversity Framework targets into national policies and strategies, aligning their actions with the global commitment to biodiversity conservation. This included strengthening environmental regulations, investing in protected areas, and promoting sustainable practices across all sectors. Businesses were called upon to assess their environmental footprint and adopt sustainable practices throughout their supply chains. From reducing waste and emissions to sourcing materials responsibly, the private sector had a crucial role to play in reducing its impact on biodiversity. Individuals were not exempt from responsibility. COP16 served as a reminder that everyone has a role to play in protecting biodiversity. From making conscious consumer choices to supporting conservation organizations, individual actions, when multiplied across the globe, could have a significant impact. The message from COP16 was clear. The fight to protect biodiversity is a collective effort. It's a fight for the future of our planet, for the well-being of generations to come, and for the countless species that share our home. The time for action is now. Section 1. A Legacy for Life? The Enduring Impact of COP16. COP16 stands as a testament to the power of collective action. It showcased the world's growing awareness of the biodiversity crisis and the urgent need to reverse course. While the journey ahead is long and fraught with challenges, COP16 provided a ray of hope, a beacon illuminating a path towards a more sustainable and equitable future. The resolutions forged in Cali, Colombia, represent a shared commitment to protecting the intricate web of life that sustains us all. They embody the understanding that our well-being is inextricably linked to the health of our planet. The legacy of COP16 lies not only in the agreements themselves, but also in the spirit of collaboration and the unwavering determination that permeated the conference. The true measure of COP16's success will be judged by the actions that follow. The world now watches with anticipation, eager to witness the translation of these commitments into tangible outcomes. The time for complacency is over. The era of implementation has begun. COP16 served as a potent reminder that the fate of biodiversity rests in our hands. It's a responsibility that extends beyond governments and institutions, reaching into every corner of society. From the boardrooms of multinational corporations to the classrooms where future generations are nurtured, the call to action resonates. Section 2. Our shared responsibility. Securing a future for biodiversity. The path towards a future where both people and nature thrive requires a fundamental shift in our values and actions. It demands a recognition of the intrinsic value of biodiversity, not merely as a resource to be exploited, but as the very foundation upon which our well-being depends. Building a sustainable future necessitates a move away from short-sighted thinking and an embrace of long-term solutions. It necessitates a willingness to challenge the status quo, to question unsustainable practices, and to demand accountability from those in power. The journey ahead demands innovation, collaboration, and a steadfast commitment to justice and equity. It requires empowering marginalized communities, embracing traditional knowledge systems, and ensuring that the benefits of conservation are shared equitably. The fight to protect biodiversity is a fight for our collective future. It's a fight for clean air and water, for food security, for climate resilience, and for a world where both people and nature can thrive. It's a fight we cannot afford to lose. This content is relevant for both UPSC prelims and mains examinations, particularly in the context of environmental conservation, international agreements, and current affairs.